Hello, friends on the internet. My name is Otis, and you're watching The Novelist, coming to you straight from my kitchen, right? And if you are someone who is on the path, congratulations to you, because I have some tips for you. Today, I want to talk about 5 major struggles that you're going to encounter on your spiritual path, on your spiritual pursuit. These are 5 strong things that you're seriously going to have to deal with consistently. It's not something that happens once, but in each stage of your ascension, you are going to have to deal with this. And you're going to backslide sometimes. And when you backslide, that is an opportunity for you to learn something. And so I want to explore these 5 major things. Of course, there are more, but these are 5 strong things that consistently you're going to have to struggle with. The first one is sexual desires. I don't know about you, but if there was a way to petition that, hey, if I choose to go the spiritual way, then the sexual desires are going to leave me alone, I would totally do that. Like, I'm in. Sometimes, I just want to be zen. I'm just so locked up in my being, and I'm so calm and collected. And then it's more like these forces just try to, struggle inside me. And then, just a small seed. And when you pick that trail, you find yourself, in a battle that is so difficult. And I understand, because it's a nature that has been put inside us. And so you are just fighting your nature somehow. But it does not mean that you yourself are the nature, right? Your nature is just something that is programmed into you. But you, being a spiritual being that is beyond the physical body, shouldn't be a victim of these struggles or carnal struggles of the body. And so sexual desires is really going to be an issue, but it eventually gets easy. When you start, that is when it gets the most difficult. But as you push them off, or as you become more aggressive and fierce in your battle, and you fight them over and over again, several months down the line, you find that, hey, nowadays the frequency at which these sexual desires, or the intensity, it kind of lowers. And so you just feel like, I'm more in control, right? But then, temptations are going to be even more and more imminent, because it's more like the more you are preserving yourself, the more you are attracting some spiritual forces to come and attack you sexually. All right, and so temptations are going to be more. What I'd encourage you to do is to avoid watching any stuff that might trigger this sexual intensity in you, or sexual thoughts in you. Soft pornography, right? Don't watch pornography at all, but then also avoid soft pornography. It's all over there on the television, it's all over on your phone, when you get on social media, when you get on Instagram, when you get on WhatsApp, people post their bare torsos and everything. And so just avoid the triggers. And I promise you'll eventually get fine. Hold on, be steadfast, and things will work well. The second thing you're going to have to deal with is people. People are going to be more strange. Things are just going to be more strange. It's more like all of a sudden, the people right? They do things that you used to do with them before, or you get into conversation with them, and it's more like, they are so petty, and maybe it's family, and they're really showing you love in every way. But then when you see them behave from doing something else, you're seeing that, why are they being so petty, right? It's not like they have an issue with you, but for example, when they're interacting with another sibling, you can tell that, he's just being petty, and it's not my war, but this is something that they could easily avoid if they did X, Y, Z. And so even strangers, people sometimes are going to be mean to you, and it's more like you are attracting more enemies, not really enemies per se, but you become more vulnerable. People want to exploit you. People want to, it's more like people become strange all of a sudden, and your presence among people, it sort of feels like, oh, my energy, it sort of feels like they're really draining your energy. And, because of the love they have for you, the concern that they are showing you and the protection, you can't just put them off that, hey, you know what, I think I need my time, and I'm just going to take my time off, see you later on, right? Because, that would be being mean, and you don't want to do that. And so you might find yourself clashing a lot as well with the people, but hey, find a balance in a way that you are not creating any enmity between you and them, or you are not becoming off as pride and know a way of conserving your energy. Don't just be speaking everywhere and contributing in every form of conversation, okay? Just try to find a good balance of how you're spending your energy onto them, and without creating permanent boundaries with family and friends, whom definitely you're going to need. All right, remember, this is just temporary, a phase that you're going through, and once you come out the other side, you're going to start to see these people differently. All right, they're still going to be dear to you, and as much as right now, they seem to be too petty in your presence. The third thing that you're going to deal with is loneliness. I don't know, they say that we are social beings. I guess we like to be in the presence of others, and we like to feel appreciated, and we like to be heard. But in this phase, unfortunately, it's more like you're put into isolation, and the more your spirit expands, the more fitting in becomes more difficult, all right? It becomes more and more complex. And you don't want to force things, right? You don't want to force things. You don't want to force relationships. And sometimes it's not you, but them. They just fall off naturally. They just find a petty reason to fall off with you. And then once it's done, it just goes off. And so things might happen in that your relationships become either social relationships or family relationships or work relationships. Things might become a bit complicated, and as a result, you will find solitude to be more comforting to you, and you will just want to spend your time there. All right, so you are in this kind of balance where sometimes you feel you need company, right? But then sometimes you feel like, hey, I need my me time. But hey, who is going to be just there for you, waiting to be off from your solitude time to keep you company? And then when you want to get off the company and go in solitude, they're there for you. All right, people just want you to be there when they want you, so that they can also be there for you when you want them. All right, and so sometimes you just have to resort to loneliness and learn to enjoy your solitude. All right, it's not loneliness per se, it's your mind that is telling you that, hey, I'm lonely at this time, but it's not like you're lonely, right? It's you are just in isolation, and in this isolation you're also supposed to learn some things. Most importantly, you're supposed to learn to be comfortable with yourself, because no one is here to comfort you, right? And it's a superpower once you learn to live in solitude or stay in solitude and still feel at home by yourself. Then you can survive anywhere. And I'm not encouraging that, hey, you should be, you should isolate yourself from people. I don't encourage that. But find a way to be comfortable, whether you have people or not. And that will go a long way, because loneliness, or when you fall into loneliness, you can resort to desperation, and then you can fall back into your old habits, and you might even go back to looking for the same people that you didn't want to hang out, simply because they are so petty and mediocre, right? The fourth thing that you're going to have to deal with is in your spiritual ascension is Dreams. Yeah, I know you didn't expect that one, but dreams. Your dreams are really going to be weird. You're going to be spooked in your dreams. They're going to take a different nature. They're going to be more scary as your spirit expands. Sometimes you're going to have serious nightmares, and you can tell that it's not normal because, it's more like you're visiting other worlds, but then you encounter this scary stuff that and also witchy stuff. I discussed this with my friend, and you find yourself fallen into either a world where there's so many horror-like spirits that are really scaring you and blood-sucking. They just want to put you in a cage and torture you. And then, it could be different forms. What you have to do, this is so natural simply because you are expanding your spirit. And when you expand your spirits, new portals open, and these are gatekeepers, all right? So I have a video about gatekeepers that I'm planning to release soon. I guess by now maybe it's already out. And so these are just gatekeepers, and when you unlock a new portal, then you'll encounter gatekeepers who are just guardians, all right? Guardians preventing these gates so that someone who is not supposed to be there doesn't get there, all right? So weird dreams are going to get more weird, and you're more like, hey, perhaps it was a bad idea, all right? It was a bad idea for me to take this journey. Or sometimes if you're meditating, you can say that, hey, perhaps this is more, demonic, as they say sometimes, that, perhaps it is, as they say, right? Simply because you are giving into this intimidation by these spirits who want to lock you out so that you don't get into this new realm, right? Because it's just a temporary phase, and you have to learn how to deal with these beings, the gatekeepers, and how to transcend them, all right? Because once you have that experience, you'll always have no problem, right? So don't give in to fear. That is the strategy, because nothing bad, especially in the spiritual world, can ever happen to you without your consent. You hold the power to everything. Even if someone threatens to throw you off a cliff, don't cower and say and scream and do what, right? Just say that even if I fall off this cliff, nothing can ever happen to me. And those horror subjects that look at you, just look at them in the face and just say that, hey, you can't do me anything, and then you poof, they just disappear, right? And without wasting time, let me get onto the fifth spiritual struggle that you're going to get into on your journey to ascension. And that is basically purging. You're going to purge out a lot of old energy, because as you cleanse the system, the environment becomes less accommodating to lower level spirits, or and even trauma, right? The trauma of the past, they just come to the surface in form of depression, and so you're likely to fall into serious depression, and you're likely to find yourself revisiting old stuff, all the wrong old stuff that happened to you or you did to someone, right? They just come to the surface. And so this is a moment for you to purge. And sometimes the purging phase, where you are simply releasing old stuff, they might take a physical form in form of a disease. All of a sudden your back is aching, you're having back problems. All of a sudden your voice is gone, right? All of a sudden you have pus like rashes over you. All of a sudden the pain from your back transforms into a joint pain. All of a sudden you have maybe, I don't know, what do we call it? You might have physical wounds, and it's more of you are purging out the old energies. And you just need to keep doing what you're doing, all right? You might find yourself even belching a lot. And so these physical manifestations of purging, where you're just purging all energies, they can look scary in that you don't understand what is happening to you. But hey, you're just healing your body, and spirit from the old stuff or the old baggage that has been holding you back. And even the wrong spirits that were living inside you, it's more like they no longer find it accommodating to live there, right? They no longer find it accommodating to live there, and so they just live in different forms. They take different forms, keep doing the work, and keep purging, because they're just temporary manifestations. And eventually, when you get through over it, guess what? There's no room for all that old stuff. And there are so many other physical manifestations, spiritual manifestations that you're going to encounter on your spiritual ascension. But those are some of the 5 main ones that I wanted to identify for now. And be sure to subscribe, to be following my stuff, because I aim to be talking to someone like you who is taking this journey, and give you some clues so that you can walk your journey knowing what to expect, and that way it becomes more easier. Cheers, and I hope to see you in my next video.